Imagine suing someone so hard that you accidentally stress out half the internet. That's basically what's happening here. Blake Lively's legal strategy isn't just gunning for a win, it's pulling independent journalists, creators, and random bystanders right into the battlefield. The question is, why? And more importantly, what happens to the rest of us if she succeeds? Because this isn't just celebrity drama, it's setting the kind of courtroom precedent that could choke off the way we get news in the first place. Let's unpack why that matters and who could be next. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Imagine a legal fight so tangled up that it makes every other celebrity feud look like a weekend spa trip. That's where Blake Lively's name has landed, right in the middle of a court battle that's basically a legal blender. And she's not just dealing with one person in a quiet little courtroom drama. Nope. This thing has splashed out of the courthouse and is now spraying everything from journalists to YouTubers, bloggers, and even the kind of random Twitter users who somehow end up in legal documents without knowing how. It's like tossing a rock in a pond and realizing you've just drenched the whole neighborhood. Here's the part that's making people nervous. Her legal team isn't stopping at asking for the usual stuff like public records or obvious evidence. They're trying to drill through some of the strongest shields we have: attorney-client privilege and something called journalistic privilege. These aren't just fancy legal terms lawyers like to throw around. Attorney-client privilege is what keeps you from worrying your lawyer is going to spill your secrets over lunch. Journalistic privilege keeps reporters from having to hand over their sources every time someone gets mad about a story. Without these protections, the whole system starts creaking like it's about to snap. To see how far they're going, picture this: court letters landing in the inboxes of TAG employees, demanding documents, emails, and notes. Then fights breaking out, legal fights, over whether those messages are shielded or open for inspection. You've got attorneys pushing one way, journalists pushing the other, and a judge in the middle deciding who's allowed to peek. And remember, we're not talking about some open Facebook post here. These are the kind of communications people assume are locked up tight for a reason. To put it simply, privilege works like a legally enforced none of your business sign. Once it's in place, the other side isn't supposed to see what's behind it. The whole point is to get honest advice or keep sources safe without worrying your private info will suddenly turn up in someone else's hands. The second you start poking holes in it, pretty soon everyone's private starts looking suspiciously public. It's a bit like trying to read your friend's DMs because they hinted about you in a group chat. Sure, you might find something to prove your point, but you also just broke a personal boundary, except now there's a judge watching you do it with their coffee in hand. That's the game on the table here, and it's got a lot more at stake than who's right about one celebrity fight. But the twist that's setting legal nerds on fire is this: her lawyers claim some of these people weren't really doing legal work at all. They say it was more like PR in disguise. And if a court believes that, the protections vanish into thin air. If you strip away attorney-client status from someone because you think they were just managing headlines, suddenly every email, every text, and every draft could become evidence. That's basically a dream scenario for anyone trying to dig into a journalist's notes, or, worse, scare them away from covering certain stories at all. And this is where a lot of folks start to realize it's not just a flashy argument between a famous face and her critics. A win for this kind of tactic means powerful people could more easily shove their way into private files, force out sources, or even rewrite a reporter's playbook just by accusing them of doing PR work. That's a massive power shift.
So these subpoenas haven't silenced anyone, they just exposed everything. And now what they're proving is that, but a lot of them have done really well, which I just really applaud. I think these women that's done it so far are just freaking amazing. I mean, it's so amazing. Like yesterday I spoke about how Cassidy O'Connell, one of the content creators.
You start creeping into a world where creators, reporters, And even regular social media commentators can't trust that what they say behind the scenes will stay behind the scenes. This move doesn't just go into the legal aggressive category, it's walking straight toward groundbreaking territory, and not in a cute innovation way. It's the kind of precedent that doesn't just get mentioned in law school, it affects what any creator or journalist dares to publish in the years ahead.